All right, guys, so today we're going to do power rule. So power rule is when they're raising a power to another power. So you're going to write your base and then you're going to multiply your exponents together. So if they said x to the third squared, you would say 3 times 2, which gives you x to the sixth. Why that happens is because they basically are telling you that you have 2 x to the third terms. And if I remember back from yesterday with the product rule, anytime you're multiplying, you would add those exponents. So that would give me x to the sixth if they wrote it that way. So that would be expanded form. So if you wanted to do that, you could. However, I would just multiply 3 times 2. It's super important that you remember to distribute that exponent that's on the outside to everything that's on the inside. So including the number. If I look at that first one, this 3 has an exponent of 1, same with the a. So I've got to multiply 4 by 1, and that gives 3 to the fourth. Same with the a. A has 1 as an exponent, so that would be 1 times 4, and then b would be to the 16th because 4 times 4 is 16. Now I can do some more simplifying because 3 to the fourth is like 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Also, if you're trying to put it in your calculator, the button right above the division symbol, that is like the arrow going up, that gives you your exponent. So 3 to the fourth gives me 81. The a to the fourth and the b to the 16th don't need to combine or anything like that. So we're done. Same with number 2. So this 5 has an exponent of 1. The m has an exponent of 1. So we're distributing 3 to every single exponent inside. So that would give me 5 to the third, m to the third, and then 3 times 3 is 9. Now 5 to the third can simplify because that's like 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. M to the third, n to the ninth. All right, the very last one, 2 x to the fourth, y to the fourth, all raised to the third power. So I've got to distribute that 3 to every single exponent. So that gives me 2 to the third, x to the 12th, and y to the 12th. 2 to the third is like 2 times 2 times 2. So that gives me 8 x to the 12th, y to the 12th. And then I'm done. Now, this would be all nice if they only gave you one power rule or one exponent rule at a time. However, most of the time your EOC is going to be multi-step. So we need to look at both power and product rule together. So we're merging yesterday's rule with today's. So anytime you have power rule, you need to make sure that you do that first. So I would make a little note somewhere. So you're always going to do that power rule first, okay? So in example 1, notice we actually have 2 power to a power things. So we need to distribute the 4 into every exponent with the first one. So that gives me 2 to the fourth, f to the fourth, g to the 16th. But if you also notice that next term has power to a power as well. So we've got to distribute that in to both of those exponents, which would be f to the 6th, g to the 6th. Now 2 to the fourth is like 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which gives me 16. This is like what we did yesterday, so we've got to add our exponents for the ones that have the same base. So f to the fourth and f to the 6th, 4 plus 6 gives me 10. And then 16 and 6 gives me a 22. Now at that point, I'm done. So I don't have to do anything else. Same process with that very next one. You have to distribute the outside exponent to everything on the inside. So that 2 has an exponent of 1, so 1 times 2 gives me 2 squared. Same with my c. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 2 gives me d to the 8th. My c and my d have an exponent of 1. So c to the 5th, d to the 5th when you take care of that power to a power. Now 2 squared is 4. I have c squared and c to the 5th. So 2 plus 5 gives me c to the 7th. And then d to the 8th and d to the 5th. 8 plus 5 gives me 13. At that point, I'm done. Now, if you look at number 3, that very first set of parentheses, it's not raised to power to a power. So I'm just going to let that hang out for a second. The next one actually does have power to a power. So I need to distribute the 3 to every single exponent. And that gives me 3 to the 3rd, x to the 3rd, y to the 12th, okay? Now, 3 to the 3rd is like 3 times 3 times 3. So that is going to give me 27. So this looks like what we saw on yesterday. So we need to multiply our two numbers out front together. So -2 times the 27 gives me a -54. I have x squared and x to the 3rd. So 2 plus 3 gives me x to the 5th. And I have -5 and 12 with my y's. So -5 plus 12 gives me a 7. So y to the 7th. At that point, I am done. Okay, so always take care of that power to a power rule first. And then after that, you have the product rule, so you are adding those exponents.